You ever get that weird feeling? You see a face in a crowd or maybe in a photo online, and for just a second, you think, wait, is that me? The whole idea of a doppelganger, a perfect lookalike out there somewhere, it's just so powerful. It's the stuff of movies and spooky old stories. But what if I told you it's not just a story? That your perfect double is absolutely real, just maybe not in the way you're thinking. It's a question that really gets you thinking, right? Could an exact copy of you, with your face, your expressions, actually be walking around somewhere? Is there, like, a real scientific answer to this? All right, so let's get into it. What are the actual odds? Well, forensic science has actually dug into this. And trust me, the numbers are pretty mind-blowing. Okay, get this. According to one study, the probability of two people matching on just 8 key facial measurements, we're talking things like the length of your ears or the distance between your eyes, is 1 in a trillion. 1 trillion. And that's just your face. But what about a full body match? Well, that same research found the odds just explode to 1 in a quintillion. That's a 1 with 18 zeros after it. So let's be real, the chances of a perfect physical double, statistically, they're basically 0. And as forensic anthropologist Dr. Tegan Lucas puts it, what we think of as identical is really just our brains playing tricks on us. We see similarities, we connect the dots, but when you actually get out the ruler, that illusion just falls apart. A true physical doppelganger, scientifically, it's a myth. So, case closed, right? Your physical double almost certainly doesn't exist. But the story doesn't stop there. Not even close. Because the most important doppelganger in the 21st century isn't a copy of your body. It's a copy of your behavior. And this brings us to your other self. We're not talking about folklore anymore. We're talking about something very, very real that exists for pretty much all of us, your digital twin. So here's the crucial difference. A physical doppelganger, that's just an external copy. It's all about appearance. But a digital doppelganger, that's an internal copy. It's a copy of your habits, your interests, your desires. And here's the kicker. While one is a statistical impossibility, the other is already here, a part of our modern world. So how is this other self, this digital twin, actually built? Well, it's not magic. It's data. Our data. It's being put together piece by piece, click by click, by the algorithms that are watching pretty much everything we do online. I mean, think about it. Every time you search for something, like a song or buy a product, that action is recorded. Companies, a lot of them called data brokers, gather up all these little digital breadcrumbs from your online life, and they stitch them all together to build this incredibly detailed profile, a data-driven doppelganger that can be used to predict what you're going to do next. And this has real, sometimes painful human consequences. Take the story of Heidi Waterhouse. After a tragic pregnancy loss, she did everything she could to get off of baby-related marketing lists. But her digital twin, the one built from her past behavior, didn't get the message. The algorithms just kept pushing ads for baby products at her, creating what she called a digital shadow of her pregnancy. It's a heartbreaking example of how these systems can operate with zero empathy, causing real pain that their creators never even thought about. And Heidi's story, sadly, is not some rare exception. This kind of data profiling can actually reinforce and even amplify existing biases in society. A 2015 study, for example, showed that Google's ad system was way less likely to show women ads for high-paying jobs. Other researchers found that searching for names that are perceived as black-sounding is more likely to bring up ads related to criminal records. It's a system that can be, and is, used to exploit people's vulnerabilities. So, okay, it's clear these digital twins can cause real harm, but there's also this deeper reason they just make us so uncomfortable. There's actually a psychological term for that feeling, for when something is so close to being familiar, but it's just off. The concept is called the uncanny. It's that creepy, unsettling feeling you get when something you thought you knew, like, say, your own identity, is suddenly reflected back at you in this weird, distorted way. Your digital twin is the uncanny you. It's a reflection of us, sure, but it's like a reflection in a funhouse mirror, one that's built out of data points instead of glass. The philosopher David Hume actually touched on why this is so disturbing. He wrote that our minds really struggle to tell the difference between two things that are very, very similar. And that's exactly the problem with our digital twins. They're designed to be so similar to us, to predict us so perfectly, that the line between our real self and our data self just starts to get blurry. There's no sharp difference, and that's what is so profoundly unnerving. This shows just how easily we can miss the wrongness that's sitting right in front of us. In one famous study, researchers hid a tiny picture of a gorilla in a bunch of chest scans and asked expert radiologists to look for cancer. A shocking 83% of them never even saw the gorilla, even though they looked right at it. We're so focused on scrolling our feeds and clicking on links that we're doing the same thing. We're failing to see the gorilla in our own data, that strange, incomplete version of ourselves that's staring right back at us. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question here. All of this, the data, the algorithms, the predictions, it's all starting to challenge our basic idea of what it means to be an individual, to have a unique identity. I mean, really think about it. When an algorithm knows what you're going to buy before you do, or knows what kind of news will make you angry, where does your free will end and its prediction begin? As these digital twins get more and more accurate, we have to ask, who holds more of your identity? Is it you, or is it the code that knows you so well?